picture the scenario because, I mean, I guarantee you've lived it. You're sitting on your couch. It has been this just brutally long day.
Oh, yeah.
The kind where your brain feels totally fried and you are craving something incredibly specific.
Like you need it right now.
Right. Maybe it's that intensely spicy pad thai from the little place down the street, or maybe you just want a perfectly greasy double patty smash burger, but you do not want to talk to another human being.
Absolutely not.
You definitely do not want to put on real shoes. So instead, you just pull out your smartphone, tap a piece of glass a few times, and like 30 minutes later, food magically appears at your doorstep. I mean, we have all been there.
It is practically a universal modern ritual at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fundamentally changed how we interact with the very concept of dinner.
It really has. And what is wild to me is that this simple ritual, just tapping a screen to summon a meal, it's fueling an industry of a scale that is genuinely difficult to wrap your head around.
Well, the numbers are staggering.
Yeah, we're looking at data here from Statista and the online food delivery market. It's projected to hit a massive $1.39 trillion by 2025. That is trillion with a T.
Yeah, to put that into perspective, that means the infrastructure delivering our late-night cravings represents an economic force larger than, well, the entire gross domestic product of many developed nations.
That is insane.
Right. Every single restaurant on Earth is currently looking at that massive pie and, trying to figure out how to capture their specific slice.
Which brings us to our mission for today's deep dive. We are unpacking this really comprehensive guide from Enatega. It's essentially this architectural blueprint detailing the exact anatomy of a successful restaurant app as we look toward 2026.
It's a fascinating breakdown.
It really is. The goal here is to discover what actually separates a clunky, frustrating app, the kind you download, use once, and immediately delete in a fit of rage, from the kind that seamlessly gets food to your door and, crucially, boosts the restaurant's bottom line. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it. So, if a restaurant wants any piece of that $1.39 trillion market, their software first has to get you, the user, to actually engage and hit that order button, right?
Right.
We can think of this initial interface as the digital front of house.
Because, I mean, if I open an app and the interface is confusing, or worse, if I completely forget the app even exists on my phone because it's buried in a folder on page 3, the restaurant has already lost the battle.
Exactly. And that visibility problem is exactly why the Enatega guide highlights the incredible power of push notifications. Now, most of us instinctively think of notifications as a nuisance, right?
Completely. Just more digital noise.
Right. But in the restaurant app ecosystem, they are an absolute lifeline. The guide points out a really critical distinction here, like emails. They get buried in your inbox.
Yeah, and they're usually way too text-heavy to read when you're rushing through your day.
Exactly. But a push notification bypasses all of that. It hits your lock screen with a concise, actionable message, precisely when your blood sugar might be dropping.
Oh, so it's like it is the digital equivalent of walking past a bakery and smelling fresh bread. Like, the scent hits you before you even realize you're hungry, and it triggers the craving.
That is a brilliant way to conceptualize it. And the data completely validates that strategy, too. According to Imaginative, personalized push notifications result in a 4 times increase in open rates.
Wait, really? 4 times?
4 times. And furthermore, they see a 27% higher click-through rate compared to a strategy where a restaurant just, blasts out generic messages to everyone.
Okay, that is massive.
Yeah.
But the key word you just used is personalized. Because if a seafood place sends me a push notification for, I don't know, half off oysters,
Yeah.
and I happen to be allergic to shellfish, I am turning those notifications off forever.
Oh, immediately. Which is why the era of generic marketing blasts is essentially dead. The survival of these apps now totally relies on machine learning to curate that personalized experience.
You're right.
These platforms are no longer just handing you a static digital menu. They are actively curating a bespoke dining interface based on your behavioral profile. The guide brings up DoorDash as a prime example of how this mechanism works in practice.
How does that actually work under the hood, though? Like, how does DoorDash know what I want before I do?
Well, it comes down to predictive algorithms weighing multiple variables simultaneously.
Yeah.
The app doesn't just look at what you ordered yesterday. It's analyzing real-time data, like your past search history, the current time of day, the weather outside.
The weather?
Yeah, the weather. And even macro trends, like what other people in your specific zip code are ordering right now.
Okay, so if it's a freezing rainy Tuesday night and the algorithm knows that my historical pattern is to order spicy ramen on cold rainy Tuesdays, It dynamically alters the home screen to put ramen front and center the second I open the app.
Exactly, and it goes even deeper than that. It might even suggest the specific extra side of gyoza you usually add. And the financial impact of removing that friction is undeniable. In 2023, DoorDash reported that this specific recommendation engine contributed to a 25% increase in order conversions.
A 25% increase just from predicting the ramen.
Right, particularly during peak dining hours. By tailoring the menu to the individual user, they aren't just improving customer retention, they're actively increasing the average basket size.
It's like a digital maitre d'. But instead of just relying on a good memory and a smile, this maitre d' has a massive spreadsheet of every meal you've ever eaten,
Yeah.
cross-referenced with the current local weather and the exact inventory sitting in the kitchen right now.
What's fascinating here is that this isn't just about showing off flashy tech. It's fundamentally about anticipating human needs and removing the paralysis of choice.
Oh, the menu scrolling fatigue is real.
It is. When you're hungry, tired, and staring at a screen, scrolling through a massive 100-item menu is cognitively exhausting. The machine learning does the heavy lifting, presenting you with the three options you are statistically most likely to buy.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And the source material also dives into how apps are anticipating needs beyond just the food itself. There are some really impressive accessibility features mentioned, like voice ordering.
Oh,
The idea that someone can just speak to their smart speaker or phone and say, reorder my usual pizza, completely hands-free, that's a huge leap in usability.
it is. Multilingual support is another vital component of building that inclusive front-of-house experience. The Enatega guide provides a fascinating architectural example of this.
Okay, lay it on me.
Imagine a tourist visiting Italy. They sit down at a local spot, scan the code, and open the restaurant's app. Because of the way the app's database is structured, the tourist reads the entire menu, including complex ingredient descriptions, perfectly translated into English.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the locals sitting at the exact same table are pulling from the same central database, but their phones are displaying the menu in Italian.
That is such a smart use of localized data. It makes everyone feel welcome and completely eliminates that awkward language barrier when you're trying to figure out if a specific pasta dish contains meat you don't eat.
Exactly. It removes hesitation. And in this industry, hesitation is the absolute enemy of a completed sale.
Right. So let's say the front end has done its job perfectly. The digital maitre d' predicted I wanted the spicy noodles, it spoke to me in my preferred language, and I have tapped order. Now a new clock starts.
A waiting game.
The waiting game. The next crucial step is making sure nothing ruins my experience between that digital tap and my first physical bite of food. We have to talk about removing friction in the waiting phase.
Yeah, and in 2026, removing that friction requires radical transparency. The most critical feature here is order tracking.
Oh, definitely.
The Enatega guide highlights that approximately 90% of customers now actively demand the ability to track their delivery orders in real time.
I mean, I am 100% guilty of this behavior. I will sit there staring at the little animated car on the map, willing it to turn down my street. But why is that such a universal demand?
Because it completely neutralizes the anxiety of the unknown. Think about the mechanism of what is happening on the screen. You're seeing a progress bar move from order received to preparing to out for delivery.
Right.
Coupled with live GPS pinging from the driver's phone, it replaces the old, deeply frustrating paradigm where a customer would have to call a busy restaurant, wait on hold, and ask a stressed-out host, "Is my food ready yet?"
Which is a transaction literally nobody enjoys. The customer hates making the call, and the kitchen staff absolutely hates answering the phone in the middle of a rush.
Exactly.
Speaking of avoiding panic, the guide emphasizes in-app chat support as another essential safety net.
Yes, the in-app chat acts as a pressure release valve. If an item is missing from your bag, or if you suddenly realize you entered the wrong apartment gate code, you do not want to hunt down a phone number and navigate an automated menu.
No, you're already hangry at that point.
Right. An in-app chat provides a direct, instant, text-based line to either the restaurant staff or the delivery driver. It simplifies problem-solving at the exact moment a customer is most likely to leave a negative review.
That makes total sense. And another massive friction point they mention is the payment process itself. The integration of Apple Pay and Google Pay seems so basic, but it is vital. If I'm starving, the absolute last thing I want to do is get up off the couch, find my wallet, and manually type a 16-digit credit card number into my phone.
Yeah, that seamless payment gateway is the final hurdle in the checkout process. But the Enatega guide also points out that these frictionless technologies aren't just for delivery anymore.
No.
No, they are deeply embedded in the physical on-site experience too, through contactless features like QR code ordering at the table or scheduled curbside pickup where your trunk is automatically popped and the food is dropped in.
Okay, let me push back on this a little bit, though, because when I read about QR codes replacing menus, curbside drops replacing hosts, and in-app chats replacing waiters, I mean, aren't we just turning our favorite local restaurants into giant, soulless vending machines? Doesn't this relentless push to eliminate every human interaction completely kill the actual hospitality of dining out?
That's a profound concern, really, and it's a debate happening in dining rooms all over the world right now. But if we analyze how the most successful high-end hospitality groups are applying this software, they are not using it to replace human connection.
What are they doing then?
They are implementing it to triage the busy work.
Triage the busy work. Walk me through what that actually looks like on a Friday night.
Consider the physical mechanics of serving a table. If a waiter has to take an order for 8 people, walk across a crowded dining room, wait in line for a physical POS terminal, manually punch in every modification, and then run back later to run 3 different credit cards.
Yeah, that takes forever.
Right. That is a tremendous amount of mechanical busy work. If the software handles the ordering and the payment automatically from the guests' phones, that waiter suddenly has the most valuable resource in a restaurant time.
Oh, I see.
The human staff is freed up to focus on the nuances that technology cannot execute, reading the table's mood, ensuring the wine pairing is perfect, and providing genuine, unhurried hospitality. It shifts the human element away from data entry and back to actual service.
Wow, okay. So the tech handles the transaction, allowing the human to handle the experience.
Exactly.
And there's a digital extension of that experience too, right?
Yeah.
Because the guide touches on social media integration within these apps.
Yes, this is a fascinating mechanism for organic growth. Modern apps allow diners to effortlessly snap a photo of their meal and push it directly to platforms like TikTok or Instagram, often with pre-populated tags for the restaurant.
Which is huge for marketing.
It transforms your paying customers into a decentralized fleet of word-of-mouth marketers. It generates authentic hype and builds a vibrant digital footprint without the restaurant needing to put a retainer on an expensive ad agency.
Okay, so the front-end strategy is completely dialed in. It's beautifully personalized, it's totally frictionless, and it makes sharing on social media effortless. But none of that matters, absolutely zero of it, if the kitchen is on fire, losing tickets, and sending out cold food. We need to look at what happens after I hit buy.
Which forces us to transition to the invisible side of the software, the business operations, what the industry calls the back of house.
And this is where the Enatega guide gets really illuminating for me. Because as a customer, all I see is a sleek, polished menu on my screen. I have no idea about the mechanics of what the guide calls menu management. I mean, we aren't just talking about a manager logging in to change the price of a side salad, are we?
Far from it. Digital menu management in 2026 is about real-time operational survival.
Operational survival.
Yeah, on a basic level, it eliminates human error. You no longer have miskeyed orders because a line cook couldn't decipher a waiter's messy handwriting on a paper ticket.
Right.
But the real power is in the cloud syncing. Imagine a kitchen runs completely out of Seabase at 7 p.m. on a Saturday. In the old days, the chef yells at the waiters, who then have to go out and awkwardly apologize to guests who try to order it.
The worst feeling.
With a modern app, the kitchen manager taps a tablet, and the Seabase instantly vanishes from the digital menu on every single customer's phone, even if they are mid-scroll.
That real-time syncing is incredible. And the guide also mentions allergen labeling in that same vein, right?
Yes.
As someone who dines out with friends who have severe food allergies, having clear, centrally updated dietary tags built into the digital architecture is massive. It completely removes the dangerous guessing game of asking a busy runner if a sauce has peanuts in it.
It is a critical liability shield for the business and a safety net for the customer. But the operational control goes far beyond just what is on the menu. We have to look at the delivery and order management systems.
Okay.
These back-end algorithms are actively automating the routing of delivery drivers, assigning them based on proximity and traffic, and then crucially, syncing that data directly with the kitchen's preparation schedule.
Wait, let me stop you there because I want to understand how that actually syncs up. Does the app just guess how long it takes to cook a burger and hope the driver shows up at the right time?
It's much more sophisticated than a guess.
Mm-hmm.
The system utilizes algorithmic prep time estimations based on historical data. It knows a well-done burger takes exactly 12 minutes.
Okay.
It also tracks the assigned driver's GPS. So the software doesn't fire the ticket to the grill cook immediately when you order. It holds the ticket until it calculates that the cooking time will perfectly intersect with the driver pulling into the parking lot.
It is literally an air traffic control system, but for a commercial kitchen.
Pretty much.
The app ensures the fries don't sit under a heat lamp for 10 minutes getting soggy while waiting for a car. The sheer volume of invisible coordination happening behind a single tap on my screen is mind-blowing.
It is a symphony of logistics. But to keep those planes in the air, so to speak, the system requires pristine data, particularly regarding location. The Enatega guide stresses location-based services as the ultimate back-end tool to solve the delivery industry's most expensive problem.
Let me guess. The problem of a driver ending up on the completely wrong side of an apartment complex because the GPS glitched.
Precisely that. Incorrect addresses or confusing drop-off instructions ruin the temperature of the food and destroy the customer experience. To combat this, a modern architecture uses a two-pronged mechanism.
Which is?
First, the app auto-detects the user's location using satellite data. But because GPS tends to snap to the nearest main street rather than a specific doorway, the software allows for manual map pinpointing. The customer can physically drag a digital pin on an interactive map and drop it exactly on their hidden side entrance.
Which saves the driver from circling the block for 15 minutes while my food slowly turns to ice.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, all of these back-end operational features, the cloud-based menu management, the algorithmic delivery routing, the precise location tracking, they're doing something much more valuable than just speeding up the delivery of a burrito.
What's that?
They're generating a massive continuous stream of data. The Enatega guide refers to this as sales data insights.
So when I'm just lazily ordering food, I'm actually feeding information into a predictive model, the digital footprint of our craving.
That is exactly what is happening.
Yeah.
The real product being generated isn't just the food, it's the behavioral data.
Right.
Every time you drag a pin on a map, every time you pause on a menu item before scrolling away, you are generating micrometrics. The restaurant uses your Tuesday night laziness to calculate their quarterly purchasing orders.
Wow.
They analyze this data to identify macro trends, figure out exactly which seasonal items yield the highest profit margins, and optimize their labor scheduling. In the incredibly tight margin world of restaurants in 2026, this data loop is what dictates whether a business survives or shutters.
Oh, okay. So we established that building this ultimate, frictionless, AI-powered air traffic control system is basically required for survival. The inevitable business question that arises from the source material is, what does it actually cost to build this machinery?
The guide breaks down the financial realities very clearly. Developing a custom native restaurant app requires a timeline of anywhere from 3 to 9 months of dedicated software engineering, and the capital expenditure ranges from $10,000 all the way up to $100,000.
10 grand to 100 grand is a massive chasm. What accounts for that kind of price swing?
It depends entirely on the architectural complexity. If a restaurant just wants a basic ordering platform, essentially a wrapper for a mobile web page, where someone can view a list of items and enter a credit card that sits on the lower end.
Okay.
But if a business wants a full-scale ecosystem, that requires deep integration.
Deep integration into what?
Into the point of sale, or POS, system. Think of the POS as the restaurant's central brain. It handles inventory, accounting, and ticketing. A $100,000 app bypasses the waiters and the cash registers entirely. Your smartphone talks directly to that central brain, translating your tap into a prep ticket and firing it straight to the kitchen's display monitors. Building that seamless, secure pipeline is expensive.
And what about the machine learning features we talked about earlier, the DoorDash-style algorithms that predict, I want ramen?
That requires what the industry calls the AI premium. If a brand wants to integrate predictive demand forecasting, personalized recommendation engines, or advanced natural language chatbots to handle customer service, they need to budget an additional $5,000 to $50,000 on top of the base development costs.
But let me ground this in reality for a second. If I think about my favorite independent neighborhood taco joint, why on earth would they drop up to $150,000 and wait 9 months to build their own AI app? Why wouldn't they just sign up for Uber Eats or DoorDash tomorrow, pay a fee, and let the tech giants handle all this logistics software?
This raises an important question, and it's the core dilemma that the Enatega guide addresses, the branded app versus the third-party platform. To understand why a local spot would spend that money, we have to look at the unit economics of the industry. It fundamentally comes down to the difference between renting your customers and owning your business.
Renting your customers. That is an interesting way to phrase it.
Well, consider the mechanism of a third-party platform like Uber Eats. These platforms are undoubtedly incredible digital billboards. They offer a restaurant massive, immediate visibility to thousands of hungry users who might never have walked past their physical storefront.
Right. They provide the eyeballs and the delivery drivers instantly.
But the economic trade-off is often crippling. Third-party apps charge commission fees that can range from 15% to 30% on every single order.
Wow. 30%.
Yeah. In an industry where a great profit margin is only 10%, those fees bleed a local restaurant dry. But perhaps even more damaging in the long run is the data monopoly. The third-party platform owns the entire customer relationship.
Ah, I see the trap. If I order from my neighborhood taco joint through a third-party app, the taco joint has no idea who I am.
Exactly.
They don't get my email, they don't get my phone number, and they definitely cannot send me a personalized push notification next Tuesday with a discount code to get me to order again.
You are a complete ghost to the restaurant. The tech giant owns your loyalty, not the chef making the food. However, if a restaurant can secure the capital to invest in their own branded app, they regain sovereignty.
Right.
The orders coming through their own app are commission-free. They control the branding, they control the exact customer experience, and most importantly, they own the data loop. They can build an integrated loyalty program where you earn points for free tacos, ensuring you bypass the third-party platforms and come directly to them over and over again.
So it's a long game?
It is. The upfront development cost is painfully high, yes, but the long-term return on investment, escaping those predatory per-order commissions and building a proprietary database of loyal customers, is the only way independent restaurants can truly thrive against massive chains.
It is the ultimate choice between relying on an expensive middleman forever or taking the painful steps to build your own engine.
It's a profound investment in long-term independence.
So to bring this all back to you, the listener, the next time you're sitting on that couch, craving those spicy noodles, and you effortlessly reorder your favorite meal with 2 taps of your thumb, take just a second to appreciate the sheer scale of the invisible machinery working on your behalf.
The architecture required to make that simple transaction happen is a modern technological marvel.
It really is. The predictive machine learning calculating your craving based on the weather, the cloud-based menu ensuring your dish is in stock, the back-end POS integration firing a ticket to a kitchen monitor at the exact right second, the manual location pinning ensuring a driver finds your specific door. I mean, it is a massive, globally coordinated effort, all mobilized just to satisfy your Tuesday night craving without you having to put on shoes.
But understanding all that machinery does leave us with one final, slightly unsettling concept from the source material to chew on.
Oh. What is the logical conclusion here?
If we follow this trajectory where these apps become the absolute primary interface for our food, predicting what we want before we even know it, and systematically eliminating every single point of human friction, what happens to the physical restaurant?
That is a dark thought. Do we even need dining rooms if the software is this good?
That is exactly the question the industry is facing. Will the restaurant of the future eventually just become a windowless, glorified kitchen in an industrial park, optimized solely for our smartphones? When the act of staying in becomes perfectly, flawlessly optimized by artificial intelligence, what happens to the messy, beautiful, cultural ritual of actually going out to eat?
A windowless kitchen optimized for our smartphones. Now there is a thought to digest the next time you hear that notification ping on your lock screen. We will leave you to ponder that one. Keep questioning the everyday magic around you, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.